Indiana Death Row holds the most dangerous individuals in the state. They are so dangerous that juries have decided that their sentence is to take their life. What do you know about the men on Indiana's death row? Let's take a look. Indiana's death row is located at Indiana State Prison in Michigan City, Indiana. The men there await to be executed by lethal injection. There hasn't been an execution in Indiana since 2009. Eric Wrinkles was convicted in 1995 of murdering his estranged wife and two of her relatives in Evansville, Indiana. Wrinkles appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show a month prior to his execution and was confronted by the victims' families. Wrinkles' last meal consisted of prime rib, baked potato, pork chops, fries, and a salad. As he was walking to the death chamber, he reportedly said, "I'll see you fellas." We will go through the remaining 8 offenders on death row and review each case. The first offender, Eric Holmes, has been on death row since 1993, the longest in Indiana. Holmes was sentenced on March 26, 1993 for 2 counts of murder, attempted murder, robbery, and conspiracy to commit robbery. He had been fired from his job and returned to seek revenge. He stabbed 3 of his co-workers, 2 of which passed away. As of January 2022, he was still in the appeals stage due to competency concerns. The next offender, Joseph Corcoran, received his sentence in 1999. He was convicted of 4 counts of murder after killing his brother, 2 of his brother's friends, and his sister's fiancé following an argument. He turned himself into the police immediately following the incident. Corcoran's niece, his brother's daughter, was home during the incident. Corcoran has exhausted all of his appeals and is awaiting his death date to be set. On to our third offender, Michael Overstreet. He was sentenced to death in 2000. Overstreet was responsible for the murder of a college student. She had been assaulted prior to the murder, and he was matched to the DNA at the crime scene. Overstreet was found not competent in 2014, but remains on death row. It is unclear if his sentence will ever be carried out. The fourth offender, Benjamin Ritchie, was also placed on death row in 2000. He was convicted of murder, firearm charges, auto theft, and resisting law enforcement. The victim in this case was a law enforcement officer. The police officer was attempting to stop Ritchie after observing him driving a stolen vehicle. Ritchie showed no remorse at sentencing. The victim's wife called him a coward during her victim impact statement. Ritchie laughed throughout her statement and even cursed at her. He has also exhausted all of his appeals and is awaiting a date for his death to be set. We are now past the halfway mark. On to our fifth offender, Roy Lee Ward. Ward was sentenced in 2002 for a particularly gruesome crime. He broke into a home, assaulting a 15-year-old girl. The victim was slashed with a knife. Ward was covered in blood when police arrived with a knife in his hand. Ward was on probation at the time for burglary and had numerous convictions for indecent exposure. Like Ritchie, Ward is waiting for his date to be set. On to the sixth offender, Kevin Isom. Isom was sentenced in 2013 for 3 counts of murder for killing his wife and her children. At the time, Isom had learned that she was planning on leaving him. He barricaded himself in the house and shot at police officers before being taken into custody. Isom and the remaining 2 offenders are waiting on the appeals process to play out. The 7th offender on our list is Jeffrey Weisheit. He was convicted in the murders of his girlfriend's 2 children. Weisheit had lit the home on fire after tying up the children. Weisheit took police on a high-speed chase before being apprehended. He may have a number of years still remaining on death row. Our last and most recent addition to Indiana's death row is William Gibson III. Gibson, unlike the 7 before him, had more gruesome details emerge following his arrest. Gibson was arrested in April 2012 after a family friend came to his home to help him grieve for his mother who had just passed. Gibson's sister found the victim and contacted the police. After his arrest and further investigation, police located a body buried in his backyard of a missing Indiana woman. She had been missing since 2003. Gibson, like Weisheit, still likely has a number of years on death row as his appeals are considered by the courts. These are the 8 men currently on death row in Indiana. There are several ongoing cases in Indiana that could result in more men being added to the list. How rare is the death penalty in Indiana? Since 2010, the penalty has been sought 23 times, with 3 receiving it. The most recent death penalty case is Carl Webb Board. I previously profiled his case, and you can click the link above for the video. You now have learned about Indiana's most gruesome and high-profile cases. Let me know in the comments if you think these men deserve their sentence. Also, if you enjoy my content, like and subscribe. As always, see you next time.